by far one of the best performances of the best, round for African clubs. Esperance winning LAFC by 1-0. Esperance did very well.
Yeah.
Mamelodi Sundowns unfortunately couldn't win, but the performance I saw Mamelodi Sundowns pull out was by far one of the best performances I've seen in this tournament. And even, in recent times, I've seen Mamelodi Sundowns, pull up. And I was so impressed with their performance. You see, when we were here and we were talking about Mamelodi Sundowns' performance, we were talking about intensity. And for me, I got that in this game or in their game yesterday. I don't know what you think, but for me, though Mamelodi Sundowns didn't win the game, but they showed or they represented Africa very well. Guys, welcome to the show. This is PHS Football. As usual, I have my man, GH Armando in the building.
I'm here, Charlie.
Right. As I introduced, what's your take on, especially Mamelodi Sundowns game? Before we go and start from, the back, generally,
very impressive.
Right.
Very, very impressive.
Right.
And I was happy even watching them, toy around Dortmund. Even though we agreed to the fact that Dortmund is not of a high level at the moment, and even though they are an European side, so definitely if an African team were able to outplay them, and it was just unfortunate they gave some goals away to Dortmund. And of course, I was very, very impressive. And what I also love about that game was the goals. We've been talking about, we've been crying out, Mamelodi Sundowns lack goals. But yesterday, they were able to actually push Dortmund to the back, and of course got 3 goals. That was amazing. If they could have kept their back a little bit safe, a little bit locked, this would have been a different score line altogether, because I think they just gave cheap goals away to Dortmund. If they could have done better, we would have been talking about a different story right now. So impressive performance, something to learn from,
right?
Of course,
right. And let's start with a couple of the games that have passed that we've not talked about before we come back to the Sundowns game proper, as well as the Esperance game as well, because those are where our interest lies.
Sure.
On Friday, we had a game, Flamingo against Chelsea.
Right.
I know you have some soft spot for Chelsea.
Of course.
Chelsea was whipped 3 goals to 1. I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked. And it wasn't as if it was just, luck.
By luck, no.
They played.
Yeah.
What's your thought on the game?
Generally, I think Chelsea played themselves into this. If you've been following our conversations, remember I keep telling other teams in the competition that they have to be careful with these Brazilian sides. These Brazilian teams, they don't really give.
Absolutely.
They will push you harder. And they have been, they've started their season a while ago, so they are kind of already in the momentum. So they will give you that pressure. Chelsea, the moment I saw Chelsea's lineup, I know there was going to be problems. I instantly felt there's going to be issues. Reece James inverted into the midfield was a no, playing against a high intensity team like Flamingo. And of course, the decision to shift Cole Palmer from the midfield to the wings was also another big mistake by Enzo Maresca.
Really?
Yeah. It limited his effort. It's just crazy. They just locked him out. He was eventually substituted. And after everything, you could see everybody was, on Chelsea's nerve, and especially the coach and other things that happened in the game. So generally, they didn't approach the game properly. Chelsea didn't approach the game properly. And they were punished by a very good side, Flamingo.
Right. But, we also have to, understand that Flamingo didn't come to play.
No.
The intensity they gave Chelsea.
Right.
Like, it was like, let's go and play. These are just our colleagues.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They don't care who you are. Yeah. They don't really care.
Right.
They have that intensity. They will give it to you. So So if you're not ready for them, they'll punish you.
Yes, yes.
So that's what happened.
Right.
And you could see Chelsea was still very slow.
Right.
From the start to the end, Chelsea were
very slow. Very
so
slow.
They just couldn't.
It was up. Like they were ready. They were more ready than Chelsea.
Exactly.
Was.
So you have to be ready for this.
But I think talking about readiness, Sanchez I think has improved a lot. If you see how he stopped setting, because I think it would have been more. But I think not even just this game, but I think overall in the 2 games we've seen, I think I've seen some improvement. I don't know what you think.
Sanchez, in terms of shot stopping, in terms of keeping out goals, for me, I always say he's one of the best. However, his distribution is what is
his problem.
That's just his weakness, and he doesn't have that confidence with the ball
on his feet.
In his feet, so I think he has problem with that. Aside all this, I think he's a very solid goalkeeper. Chelsea will only have to decide whether are we going to keep on building from the back. Is he the right person to do that? If he's not the right person, then get the right person who will be, confident with the ball, his good distribution of the ball, and then you are good to go. But Sanchez is somebody who is a good shot stopper, but not good on the feet. You have to decide.
Right. And now the next game that came was the Esperance LAFC game.
Right.
Esperance, you remember, unfortunately, we weren't able to get that video out. But you remember we spoke about the chances of Esperance. And I remember you saying that if they really take the game to them, they would definitely be able to get. And that was exactly what happened.
Exactly.
What's your
thoughts if you watch that game, you will see it was 50-50 game. LA will give a fight.
Right.
Then Esperance also take over and then push as well, and you could see it was very balanced. And LA were not able to take good care, to take good chances that they've created, take the chances, because I think 3 or 4 2 goals were disallowed due to offside. So if they had been a little bit careful and timed their runs well, it would have been a very good game for them. And on the part of Esperance, I think they did so well. They came out clearly that this is our last chance.
Right.
We have to get this done.
Or
and of course,
we'll go home.
Right. If they didn't win, automatically they were going. So they are still in the game. They are still, in contention to qualify. 3 points, Chelsea 3 points.
Right.
It's only Flamingo who has 6 points in that group. So for me, I think good fight and then good opportunity for them.
And I think towards the ending of the video, we'll come back to look at the opportunities going into the final games of the group stages. But I think what he said is quite true. If you look at how Belali was in the game on the day, he was clear that we have to win this game, and he was all over the place. Unfortunately for him,
and a last minute penalty save by Ben Said
as well. That was incredible. Unfortunately for them, Belali gets a second yellow card. It means he won't be able to
play against Chelsea. That's a huge loss.
Exactly, and it's going to affect them. That is where my worry is. But as I said, we will talk about that later on in the games. But I was very excited. Esperance,
of course, for that win.
Still giving themselves the opportunity to qualify. Who knows? Anything can happen in the next round of games. But Bayern Munich, Boca Juniors.
Of course,
Boca Juniors.
Unfortunately, we couldn't get that video out, and I said it was going to be a reality check for Bayern. I said that, and that's actually what happened. Bayern has to struggle to get a win against Boca. That's how they are. These South American teams, they don't care who you are. They will come after you. They will show you what they have.
Right.
So for me, I wasn't surprised to see Bayern only managing a 2-1 victory against
Boca Juniors. Right. Inter also managed a 2-1 victory.
They have to fight back.
Yes, or Red Diamonds.
I was watching that game, and I was like, wow. Now we enjoy football everywhere.
Right.
It is everywhere.
Right.
You don't only watch the results. I was looking at the setup of both teams, so I was really, really impressed to see how after getting their first goal, how their shape was, how they actually were, going ahead, how they were actually
their movement
and everything. The moment they lose the ball, how they will reshape.
Right.
It was very difficult for Inter Milan. I think Inter Milan was just lucky and of course they were getting tired at a point
as well.
and they took control of that.
Right. And generally, I think the small teams that we underrated are actually really showing up and telling us that football is not about names anymore.
Right.
Football is everywhere. You can be in the, far place and then you still come out and you play good football.
Of course.
It's just unfortunate that some of these leagues are not popular and people don't watch. Right. That's why how come we don't even know the quality of some of these teams as well. Now let's move to the game of the week yesterday.
For me,
Mamelodi Sundowns versus Dortmund. What a game. What a game.
That was a cracker. I mean,
what?
Kudos to Sundowns. I mean,
I think that we were vindicated.
Wow.
We sat here and we made mention of the fact that, you see, let's play Shushan and piano, but let's put intensity into it. And that was a clear example they exhibited yesterday.
Sure.
The Mamelodi Sundowns that played in the first game wouldn't have been able to get even a second goal back. But the intensity yesterday was top notch. Right. They made sure that had there been like 5-10 more minutes, it would have ended 4-4.
Yeah, sure.
And I was impressed about their performance yesterday.
I agree. I'm happy this has to come. A very improved performance compared to the last game.
From the beginning of the game.
Everything was super. And that's what we want. That's what we want to see. It's not just, we want to talk.
Or hate. No. I saw somebody say hate. I was laughing.
No.
I'm a diehard supporter of Sundowns. Why would I come and sit and hate?
Far from hate. We talk what we see.
Yeah.
And of course, if they improve.
And one thing we should also learn to do is to take emotions out of the game. Yeah. When you want to do emotions, that's fine. But when people want to open their minds and discuss understand what is going on, you just have to sit and listen.
Right.
It's football. You don't think that because you play a certain style, because of that you are better than another club. Don't forget they're also preparing for you. They also have their own stuff to do.
And they watch you.
Exactly.
So I was really impressed. And of course, Lucas Ribeiro taking the game off the head. Oh, man. Surprising everybody with that kind of run. Man. It did a lot for the team.
Right.
It gave them the needed boost, the needed confidence to actually come after Dortmund. I think everything collapsed a little bit after that mistake from Williams. But
fortunately,
how they were able to come back in the game, another very impressive attitude. It is not that easy to go down
and then fight back
the way they did,
especially when it's 4-2
exactly,
or even 4-1 3-1.
It was
3-1.
Yeah,
fighting when you are 2 goals behind. It's not and having the mentality that we can still win. Like it was absolutely amazing.
Right. So let's push ahead. Let's keep that intensity. We are not saying we shouldn't enjoy. For instance, we enjoyed yesterday, and also added the intensity. Exactly. So why don't we continue that way?
And we really, for me, I feel that the game would have even been won in the first half if that mistake didn't happen. Because that mistake took the game from Sundowns for a long time before they started, coming back into the game and all of that.
Yeah.
And for me, that is what we are talking about. And I'm always skeptical about this playing from the back thing. I know this is modern football, but sometimes when you overdo it, you put unnecessary pressure on yourself. Yeah. And then you end up losing. Look how William lost the ball. Right in front of your goal. The guy didn't even shoot. He passed the ball into the net.
Passed the ball into the net.
You see, so part 1, 2, let the ball move.
And the third goal was also lost the same way from the middle. Just halfway to the middle.
Yeah, so I think Sundowns played better. They made very unpardonable mistakes that lost them this game. But they played better than Dortmund. No doubt about that. They outplayed Dortmund. No 2 ways about that.
And that's excellent.
Right. One player I was very impressed about was Matthews.
Good runs.
The runs he made.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he didn't really.
The end product still
was not really.
he needs to work on that.
Exactly,
Hopefully.
but I was very impressed with his runs at the wings, and I think that is what we are talking about.
Yeah.
Once the ball is at the wings, it's very dangerous.
Very, very dangerous.
It's little cut in, and everybody's messed up, and we are scoring a goal.
Sure.
But overall, I think it was impressive.
Yeah. So
it was impressive.
moving into the next
impressive.
game, they should be targeting another win.
Right.
And it's going to be difficult.
We'll talk more about the possibilities after we finish with these ones.
Sure.
And I think the last game was the Fluminense and Ulsan HD.
Yeah.
That was another, game. I think the game was 2-2 until the 80th minute going where Fluminense got 2 more goals and then killed.
That's what I said. The intensity. They don't stop.
Right.
They pick it from the beginning to the end.
And Ulsan was they were
exactly.
tired.
So you get tired eventually. So that's the advantage of these Brazilian teams, because
they have the energy.
The energy.
Right.
And none of the Brazilian teams have lost any game so far. So it tells you how ready they are.
How ready they are for this. Yes.
I mean, absolutely incredible.
Incredible performance. So now let's look at how the table is shaping up.
Right.
Teams that are more likely to qualify and those that are not, especially our African clubs that are in there. Yeah. If you look at Group A, where we have Al Ahly, for me, I think it's just they're out, because if you look at what they have to do to be able to get into the next group, it's huge. They have to win and score at least 2-3 goals to be able to get into the next game.
And they are not playing against any
exactly. They are playing against, I think, Porto.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy. Do you think there is a chance there for Al Ahly?
It's a very big mountain for them to climb, honestly. I wish they can do it. I just wish they can do something about it. Hopefully, we'll get the favors of the blessings from Messi to be able to overcome this, because Messi did his thing the last time against Porto.
Right.
So I definitely want to see Al Ahly winning. But how are they going to do it? That's going to be a big question, because Porto, a very young side that knows what they do. They possess the ball very well. They attack very neatly. The problem is for them is also the scoring. A very young side like that, they definitely lack the experience to put the ball in at the back of the net. That's their problem. I mean, so if Al Ahly are able to keep them quiet in terms of scoring, and also try their best to score, I mean, why not? They can actually push ahead and
they have to score 3 goals.
3 goals, so you can imagine,
without conceding a goal.
You can imagine,
and
that's going
that
to
will even, just for consideration. For me, I think that will be very hard for Al Ahly, because looking at how they've played so far, I've not really seen that.
It's hard.
It's hard.
For them
going to be hard
to even create
and
chances.
It's unfortunate, because they were one of our very favorite
right.
legs in the competition, and to have them go out like this is going to be sad. But let's see how things roll out.
Sure. And
we have in group B, we don't really have any interest there, but we can look at it. Botafogo is leading the group with 6 points. That is shocking. I remember in our analysis, we were actually tipping PSG and Atletico. But now
Botafogo has done it.
Yes, there are 6 points, 3 clear points off PSG and Madrid.
Atletico Madrid.
That's shocking.
So another Brazilian side, that is crazy.
Right.
I think in the Brazilian Serie A, they are still playing unbeaten also. In their,
that's crazy.
So they have a very strong side, and they play with that intensity.
Right.
I'm talking about. They definitely have that intensity in them, and that's what's working for them. So go with your plan, and you are good to go.
Group C, we have Bayern Munich, Benfica leading, and I remember I said Bayern Munich and Benfica were going to go into the next stages. But I mean, we still have one more games. But I think in this game, they are gone, because if you look at Boca Juniors, that has a point. If they win their next game, they might have to win with more 7 goals. It's not possible. So I think Bayern and Benfica are already true. But then in Group D, where we have Esperance, Flamingo is at the top with 6 points. Now these two teams, Chelsea, Esperance, because LAFC has 0 points.
Yeah, no,
so
them,
they are out. If Chelsea, and the funny thing is that Chelsea is also playing Esperance, because the two teams, those are the two teams that are looking for the next the points to get to be second. And if Esperance is able to beat Chelsea, then they automatically go through. And if Chelsea is also able to beat Esperance, Chelsea go through. But Chelsea, a draw
is good for Chelsea.
Is good for Chelsea, but a draw is not good for Esperance.
Right.
A draw is not good for Esperance.
That's the unfortunate for
Esperance.
It's going to be a very huge task,
right,
for them to qualify,
right,
because they will need to win against Chelsea. And Chelsea, after losing their last game, will not want to lose.
So
it's going to be tough.
And Esperance, I mean, though from what they did, I actually, kind of have some hopes in them. But them losing Belali in this game is going to be another problem for them, because Belali is like their talisman in the team. But, you think Chelsea will take this, or
I think
Esperance?
So. I think so.
You think Chelsea will?
I feel sorry for Esperance, but I still feel like Chelsea, even without a win, like a draw is good for them. So they will know how to
manage the game and get out of it. I mean, but our thoughts are still with Esperance. Let's see what they can do. I mean, anything can happen in football. Right. Now let's look at River Plate. That's Group E. River Plate Inter leading this group, and I remember we actually gave them, we actually said Inter River Plate, right? And Monterrey they have 2 points. If they win, they can also still go up a little bit. But I still think
it's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. We also have Group F, where we have a lot of interest in. Flamingo and Dortmund are leading currently.
Yeah.
But with 4 points each. Sundowns has 3 points. So anything can still happen in this group.
Yeah.
And Sundowns is also going to be playing Flamingo in their final group game. If Sundowns wins, automatically they are going to lead the group. And if Flamingo wins, Sundowns is out automatically.
Sundowns,
but a draw is not also good for Sundowns.
Yes, Sundowns doesn't need a draw.
A draw is not good for Sundowns. Though they will have 4 points, but Dortmund has +1 and Flamingo has what? Plus 2.
And of course, Dortmund, Sundowns will have to, if they want to lead the group, they will need to score at least 3 or more goals.
Right.
If they want to lead.
Right. That's true. So that's true, because they have 0 on goal difference.
Yes, so it's going to be tough.
Right.
Even though if they win, even with 1-0 and Dortmund draw or Dortmund loses, they will qualify. If both of them win, it's still over for
Sundowns.
Yeah.
So it means Sundowns need a win by all means.
Yes.
And we're hopeful that Dortmund might draw. But Dortmund playing Ulsan, well, let's see. Let's see. So it means that if Dortmund also wins,
automatically they
so I think Sundowns' destiny is in their own hands,
right?
To beat Fluminense,
yes,
to beat Fluminense, and even if they beat Fluminense, okay, if they beat Fluminense and Dortmund also beat Ulsan, Dortmund is going. Yeah. But it means Sundowns need more goals.
More goals, like at
least 2-3 goals. 3 goals, yeah.
And
unanswered.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Unanswered goals for them to be able to. And from what we saw in the last game,
if they are able to play with the same intensity.
With the same intensity, Sundowns will do it. Yeah. And I'm very hopeful about that. Group G, we have another, African side. We had Casablanca in Group G. And in that group, Juventus, Man City are topping with 3 points each.
Yeah.
Juventus have +5, City have +2 goals. With that, -2 with 0 points. Al Ain -5 with 0 points. I think technically it might be over for Wydad.
Yeah, of course. That's one of the toughest groups.
Right. And we've already said it. Yeah. We've said it in this studio that it will be difficult for Wydad because of the caliber of teams that they are playing in this competition. But I mean, they've shown what
Of course, let's see what happens.
Right in the coming days.
If they're able to get a draw against Dortmund and maybe a win against Al Ain, hopefully.
If they're able to get a draw against
Juventus,
right,
and maybe a win against Al Ain, hopefully some mathematics will happen.
Yes, they still have 2 more goals, two more games to go. Right, they have not played, so I think that's an advantage. They still have 2 more games to go. So, and Wydad is playing later this evening. So if they're able to get a win or a draw, let's see how things go. And I think basically those are even Group H still have 2 games to go. Madrid and their people. So let's see how things turn around in the coming days, and probably we'll come back and then have a final, qualify the whole
group stages,
and then see how the quarterfinal stage round of 16 is going to look like. And I think for me, Sundowns must be in this. Ahly has disappointed us. Sundowns have to be there.
Now our hopes are with Sundowns.
And possibly Esperance to some extent.
Magic if magic is going to happen.
Right, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comment section as well. Please don't. This is a community. Don't come watch and go. Let us discuss. And we've already. One of the things I love so much about my South African fan base, and also generally the fan base, is that we share our ideas with respect, even if you disagree with us, but you still share your disagreement with so much politeness and regard, and we appreciate you so much for that. I think that is how it's supposed to be. We cannot claim to know it all. What do we even know? We are just saying we just come here to express what we see or what we think, and probably your thoughts might add something to what we also know in the studios as well. So always leave a comment in the comment section, and don't forget to hit the like button. We read almost every comment. If you check, we reply almost every comment in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe if you're watching for the first time. As usual, my name is Prince Samdan. We'll be back with more. Peace. We out.